in Ukraine, which was under the control of Russian-backed separatists. Wednesday's report is from an international criminal investigation and will confirm in more detail the exact kind of missile and exactly where it was fired from, crucial in identifying who fired it. But it will not name suspects, not yet. The finger of suspicion has always pointed towards Russian-backed separatists. The report on Wednesday will say that the missile used was made and supplied by Russia, and it will identify a very specific location on the ground from where it was fired, evidence which could be used in any future criminal case. And it is likely to raise diplomatic tensions with the Russians even further. Russia and its allies in eastern Ukraine have always denied responsibility and instead accused the Ukrainian government. Only this week, Russian officials released evidence they claim supports their case.
It's not only the soldier or the human that has pushed the button. No, it's the chain of command. So, onto the highest ranks, who has done that? Who has given the OK order? Who has given the OK order to go over there? Who has given the OK order to shoot on planes? How did this all happen?
For the families, Wednesday's report will be another small step towards identifying those who killed their loved ones. But they also know identifying the guilty parties and actually bringing them to justice are two very different things. Simon McGregor-Wood, TRT World, Nieuwegein in the Netherlands.
More now in Syria. Activists say a new round of airstrikes has hit 4 rebel-held neighborhoods in eastern Aleppo, injuring at least 10 civilians. They're also accusing the Syrian regime of again using phosphorus bombs that have hit residential areas. These chemical weapons are banned under international law. The attacks are part of an intensified ground offensive by the regime to recapture the city of Aleppo. For more analysis on the latest development in Syria, let's go to Paris and speak to Wael Al-Qadi, a Middle East analyst. Many thanks for joining us, Wael. Now, why do you think the Syrian regime is so aggressively attacking eastern Aleppo now, more so than before? Do you think this has anything to do with the failed ceasefire?
For such an inhuman and barbarian regime, there is no why. Always they do something for just destroying and killing people of Syria. This is their mission actually in the war. But actually they want to recapture Aleppo because they want to recapture all the cities for the what they call useful Syria before the new negotiation time, so they can make more results on the ground. As for the ceasefire, I think it's there is no another ceasefire, because actually there is no ceasefire. I never seen such a ceasefire before in the whole world happened like this way and was active just like this way by air bombs and all that attacks. But I think there is no another ceasefire until the next election of the new USA president, unless there is no ceasefire on the ground, because it's a political ceasefire happened between the American and the Russian, and I don't think there is real ceasefire on the ground unless the Free Syrian Army took all Aleppo and bring it back to the freedom. That time we might have another ceasefire.
Do you think the Russians have got any influence on the Syrian regime?
Well, for sure they have their influence and they can do a lot of issues. Actually, they were doing nothing all that period, just keeping Russia destroying Syria by the hands of the regime, hands of the Iranian, and keeping this blood of path going on just because they are doing nothing. If they want to do something, they could do it, and they can do it fast. I can do it immediately. Actually, we are waiting for someone that a new election for some new president could do something in Syria and Aleppo. They can do a lot, especially in the United Nations. They can do a lot on the borders. They can make the ceasefire. They can give us a safe area to work, safe zone to work and to support those families. Actually, there is horrible issues goes in Aleppo, and it is by almost green light by the Washington.
What do you make of these accusations by activists of the use of phosphorus bombs by the Syrian regime? Do you think there could be truth to that?
Well, they think this major attack, they think that's good for them. They could keep Aleppo with them. They could recapture east of Aleppo. They could, the activists now on the ground, they can do nothing. They can only stand more and more on that ground, and they actually insist of standing. You can see yesterday that the kids were swimming in the pool, in the big gaps that has been made by the bombs. That means we are staying there. We're gonna fight. We're gonna still stand, and I think there is more good news gonna come from Aleppo in the next days for the free Syrian people and for all the whole world.
Wael, is there any hope looking into the future of any sort of resolution here? I mean, under what kind of situation would there be any sort of improvement in the situation in Syria?
Actually, we didn't lose the hope all of that 6 years' time. Actually, we still believe, even if he took all of Syria, we still believe that he should leave and we should fight and we should take back our lands. So we have no choice. We have no choice to go back. We have no choice. We have to keep insisting of fighting this regime, of demanding for our freedom all the time. So we have no choice. We have to keep going. And I think there is many chances, supported by several countries in this period, we can do some good issues against this regime. We will hear a new good news from Hamas soon. We will hear good news also from Aleppo soon against this barbaric regime.
Okay, well, many thanks for your insight. Wael El-Qadi, Middle East analyst, speaking to us from Paris. Well, as that offensive rages on, attacks on hospitals in Aleppo continue. The Syrian American Medical Society says airstrikes have hit the two largest hospitals in rebel-held parts of the city. Both facilities were hit early on Wednesday morning and are now closed down. In the northern city of Jarablus, the Turkish Health Ministry has opened a new hospital. It's the first people in the city have seen since they came under Daesh control 3 years ago. Let's speak to TRT World's Alican Ayanla, who's actually there for us in Jarablus. So, Alican, you've been there for the last 24 hours. Describe to us what is going on there in terms of the people you're meeting. How are they? How has life changed for them since the town became liberated from Daesh?
That's right, Malene. As part of Operation Euphrates Shield, this was one of the first Syrian towns to be liberated from Daesh because of its proximity to the Turkish border. Turkish forces, as well as the Free Syrian Army, are continuing the third phase of this operation. They're moving further south, but life here in the town of Jarablus seems like it's getting back on track, as normal as it can be. Men, women, and children of all ages, they're out on the streets right now. It's lunchtime here in Jarablus. So people have actually dispersed to indoors to actually get to grab a bite to eat. But earlier there were children playing out in the streets. Now the schools haven't opened yet because simply there isn't enough staff to in terms of teachers. But they're hoping that teachers will start coming back in and the schools will get back up running. So the children can continue with their education. But men and women are also continuing with their daily lives, with their daily routine. They're going to the market, running their errands. And we've seen the population increase in Jarablus from about 1,000 people while it was